The most engaging, impactful, informative, and entertaining talk show ever. Get ready to hear the voices of many local, state, and national artists, musicians, comedians, pastors, athletes, and politicians. It's time for South Florida Live with Jeffrey Brown.
So, to recession, depression, and unemployment, this song's for you.
Today's a new day.
It's a no day, y'all.
There is no sunshine.
Hey, listen, come on in. It's South Florida Live Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Brown, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Come on in. Join us tonight. Let's talk about the things that matter. It's been a week
I'll be honest.
since the election. I don't know what the crew got to talk about tonight, but it's some crazy stuff going on out there. Let's talk about it. In spite of it, we're still gonna smile, y'all.
You do. Come on.
All right, those that are joining us, please like and share. Good evening to everyone.
Still to me today. Come on.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds.
All right, I think we're ready. Hey, listen, y'all. Thank you for joining us on this evening. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. The crew is here. Yes, they are. The Reverend Dr. Apostle Bishop. Yes, it is. Lady Joy Jackson.
Woo. Praise the
How
Lord.
are you? Hallelujah.
Woo. Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus. God
It's
is
crazy.
amazing.
It's crazy. It's
Yes, first.
yeah. We got TB with us tonight. She rolling out there in them streets, though.
Well, what can you
Rolling out there in them streets like always. She
Like
just
always.
always rolling them streets, boy. I tell you. Hey, good evening, my sister. Good evening, ladies. How are you?
Hey, I'm here. I'm a parent, so I'm always on the job.
Been there, done that.
On the job.
Been there, done that. Well, it's been a week.
Hey, Agent Orange is back. What y'all gonna do?
It's been a week. It's
Got
been
the
a
straw
week.
hat for the fields?
Hey, you know what? I'm tripping on. What that man name?
Which one?
Donnelly, and Tim Scott.
Oh,
What about him?
Yeah, that's what Trump's saying. What about him? Y'all and kiss all the way up. Y'all and kissed all the way up. Y'all done just got stuff all on your face. And that man signing everybody to his cabinet but y'all.
Except him. No, because I just love you. Okay.
what y'all think about Marco Rubio? Because I'm like, what?
I have a better one. Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Is he crazy?
You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming.
The same entity that was going to charge him for sex trafficking, you mean to tell me he's going to be in charge of the Attorney General? Is Trump crazy? They're crazy, and they expect people to confirm him. The Republicans don't even like him. Oh, but, we will respect what, the president said. Matt, but wait a minute. Time out.
This cabinet is
this is sex trafficking that this man has been charged with, and you are going to put him over the criminal aspect of the United States, the attorney.
He's a criminal. Why
Hey,
not?
I was getting ready to say, birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
But
If I open a dispensary, I'm not going to get Bob and Tim. I'm going to get Peanut of them. You understand what I'm saying?
Because I
my
know,
product
because
goes
I
further
know,
than-
he know he ain't coming at them. He know he ain't coming for him.
and he's going to pardon all the people from January 6th. And now those Hamanaka saying, wait, hold off, delay our court dates until after inauguration. We don't want to go to court yet. We don't want to do anything. Delay, because this man have promised them that he's going to pardon them. Now, suppose he doesn't. Then what?
I don't care.
No,
Okay.
he'll probably do it. He gonna do it.
I don't care. Listen, Joe Biden need to take his son out of the lion's den. He need to pardon his own son. I do it.
Oh, that's right. He should pardon.
But he
If he
said,
don't do nothing else, pardon his son.
he said he's not gonna do it.
See, you see
Yeah, he
this
needs
right
to.
here?
They gonna go after him if he doesn't.
Yeah. You see that one right there?
Right.
If I was him, she'd be pardoned.
No,
He
he,
never
needs,
happened.
he needs to do it because they're gonna go after his son.
They've been asking him that. They've been asking him that for the longest, but he said he's not gonna do it.
And Jack Smith say he's resigning.
Listen, this is like for a comedian. This is
crazy.
comedy gold. These next 4 years gonna be comedy gold for every comedian. I don't know if you guys saw Wanda Sykes. She was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and remember she has a comedy tour that she's on now. But give it 6 months, I bet she go on another tour. I bet she go on another tour because this is comedy gold. I may get out on the microphone and tell some jokes on this. This is hilarious.
This is and what is what's the guy name from Tesla? I forgot just that quick.
Jeff Bezos? No.
Basil. No.
Bezos, I had it right. No,
Basil.
That's
Bezos.
Yeah. Not Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. It is Tesla's Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. It's the
and
Tesla.
Ramaswamy, they made up something for them to head because they done threw so much money into his campaign. They just made up. This thing don't even exist. Something over the chamber of something that they are going to be in charge of. Nobody ever heard of it before. It just
Listen,
this is
the
my
white
God.
reparations is what's getting me. The white reparations is what's getting me.
Ooh, you know what? I really, be honest, y'all. Let me confess. I really have not been watching anything since last week. I just stopped, but
Okay, did you do that on purpose?
I did come
Did you
across the
deliberately-
reparation thing.
Did you deliberately detach, or was it just?
No, I
that's just how
delivered.
things go?
I
'Cause
delivered.
I'm trying to, but every time I turn on the TV, the radio, if I'm on the internet, it's so many
Listen,
things
this-
happening.
I
I
can't
can't
do
detach.
that.
I'm gonna tell y'all how detached I've been trying. I love this lady, Karen Hunter. I love her talk show. I love her part. I haven't even listened to her. I haven't listened to her at all. After Tuesday I didn't even listen. I haven't listened to her at all. And that's the show that I listen to at 3:00. At 3:00, don't even bother me because I'm locked in. I haven't been listening. I really haven't. I've been, and I know I got to catch up with what's happening, but I just don't want. I don't want to do it right now.
I had to detach myself to it too. I wasn't watching CNN, MSNBC, Channel 4. I turned and watched Tracker or Found. Or
I've been catching up on series.
But you know, it didn't. I know a lot of people were sick after this. I did not respond like that because I just felt I knew that whatever he was going to do, that because I serve a higher power, I knew we were going to be okay. But I remember when he was president before, remember at 5:00 every day he would have that news brief or whatever would come on. That would be the highlight of my afternoon because I just sit and laugh. People were asking questions he couldn't answer. He talked stupid. This is what, and now it's even worse. You see the people, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. State
Listen.
of what? I pray
here's my
I
fear.
pray Uncle
My
Julio and Aunt and Auntie, whoever, are citizens. Because if he's not careful,
What did he make? What did he make the little short man? The what you call a man here? Y'all governor. Didn't he sign him to something?
Nothing. He don't like him.
heard nothing in. Nope.
I
Nope.
thought he had
I
signed him.
wish he'd take him and do something with him so he can leave us alone. I wish they could kiss and make up, go out to dinner, have some beers or whatever white men do, and reconcile their differences so that he could take him and move along.
Because I'm telling
That's my
you,
heart desire.
something is going to break. Something is going to break, and it's not going to be pretty. And he's going to have to try to lie himself out of, because it won't be explaining. Some of the, all this stuff he said he's going
I'm glad
to
you said that, because people have been saying, and it's been out there for a few years now, but now people are really serious about it. Stash your cash, stock up on your non-perishables. Because here's the thing, in the 21st century, could somebody come along and drop a bomb on these United States? Sure. But the fastest way to infiltrate a system will be through technology. Why? Because we do a lot of our business transactions digitally. You want to shut down a particular country,
that's how you do
shut down their internet. So
what
now, if
what
you
is
don't have
that
any
bomb?
cash on hand, how you going to get goods and services?
Wait, there's what's that bomb name that does that? There is something that will shut it down. And that will stop. That will, God knows it will. Because how can you launch a missile without technology? All that stuff is done through computers. What are you going to do? Everything that is possible that get to a place that quickly is through a computer. What are they going to do? I hope the computers are about a battery, whatever, but you still need the internet. And what is that thing? It's a bomb that shuts all of that down. You hit those satellites.
I don't know the name of that bomb, but all I know is that you better get your beans and rice together. Have some cash, preferably ones, because it's going down. And I've been paying attention to economists for about 4 to 5 years now. A couple of things have been the steady conversation. One, China's currency has the potential to become the world currency.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing. Two, the way the inflation rate is going. They keep telling us there's relief, but people aren't feeling relief. I talk to so many people that are just barely making it daily, having to make decisions about which bills and what's a priority, and cutting back on things that you wouldn't even call luxury items, but cutting back a lot to just survive. Then you have economists saying that if the interest rates go down, we're going to have a problem. So, in my opinion, I don't understand what the solution is, because you would think bringing the inflation rate would make things better, but you have the economists that are saying no, it's going to make things worse. And then we wait for this guy from the Fed. When I said the Fed, I'm talking about the Federal Reserve Bank. Every week, about 10 a.m., he does a report and says what's happening. So every week, this guy is coming on giving a report about inflation and talking about raising the rate. And it's minuscule, the amount that it's been raised over these last, I'm going to say 6 months, right? But it's enough for it to be a problem should he decide to bring it down. That's horrible.
Well,
And I don't know if you all are familiar with the interest rate, but simply put, in layman's terms, it determines what we're paying for goods and services. It determines a lot of things in reference to our fiscal business deal.
your
So
And if the inflation goes down and you go into a recession means that you don't have jobs. And they do
That's
not
right.
want to go into a recession because the prices are going to go extremely low. And if a recession means that they have started cutting back on jobs. So this was the fear when they were talking about the inflation rate coming down too fast. They thought that we were going to go into a recession, which meant that your jobless rate is going to go up. And this is what they don't want. We talk about inflation, and the prices, how they are. The reason why inflation is so high is because people are spending. If people stop spending, the inflation rate would go down. But they want people to spend. Remember when COVID was here, so they were afraid of a recession. They started giving people money so they can go out and buy stuff so that folk can get a job. And then they kept giving money, giving raises, giving money. Then that caused the inflation rate to go up because now people are hiring, which means that they have to pay out a larger amount of money for salary, which
Supply
caused
and demand. Supply and demand. Yeah.
and so what do you want? We talk about how high a loaf of bread and a dozen of eggs may be, but if you drop those egg prices too low, or the bread too low, or interest rates too low, then that means somebody's going to be too low without a job. So what do you want? Where is that happy medium with the economy? And the economists are stating that these Trump tariffs is going to cause everything to go haywire. You're going to feel it in your pocket because once they tax all these people, then the tax that they're taxing these other countries, you don't want to pay their taxes. The people that China not going to pay the taxes, we are going to pay the higher taxes on those goods, which mean that here we go again. Then inflation is going to continue to rise. The poor people are the people that's going to suffer the most because rich folk don't pay taxes anyway.
Well, see, that's why Black America needs to come up with a plan to capitalize on these economic opportunities that he's going to give to the so-called 1%. You can't just only give it to a few people. It's going to be out there for anybody to grab, but you got to know what you're grabbing at, and you got to know how to do it. It's kind of like playing spades. You can have, I don't know if you guys are spade players, but I'm going to just give you this analogy anyway. When the dealer deals, the only way you throw in the hand is if you got no spades at all. But if you at least have one spade, you got to play your book. So what does that mean? You have to rely on your aces, your kings, your queens, your jacks, and the other suits. And you got to know and have a strategy of how to utilize them to win books. So when you make your bed, you go board, you go two and a possible, or whatever it is, depending upon you and your partner. Black America got to take these next 3-4 years and make some partnerships, create partnership with one another, and play this money game like spades. They have to, because if they don't, it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be an interesting aspect of trying to do that, because I used to play spades a lot. I mean, I used to play every card game in the world. Oh my God, whatever I played it. But with spades, you have to rely on your partner, and you're right. Because if you don't have it in your hand, your partner better have something.
Doc plays spades.
I play spades.
Well, yeah, I guess you did go.
Whist,
That's something that they learned there.
I played it all. I did it all. Come on.
Why is this man bothering us about our alma mater?
Y'all, she did go to Bethune-Cookman, so I guess that's all y'all did there.
I don't know about all that, but nonetheless, you have to rely on your partner. And I don't know what the United States is going to do, because these countries now are looking, and some of them are nervous. I said, Biden better give Ukraine all the missiles they need now, because if Trump he doesn't want to support that war over there either, so he better do all he can. They need to do all they can do now, rely on on these other countries. But when you look at where we are and the partnership that TB's talking about, partnership. I don't know. These countries, other countries look up to the United States, but we started
I don't know
going
why.
down. We started going down during that Trump era the first time, and then we began to look up. People began to look up to us a little bit better with Biden. Now that Trump is back in office, these folks scared because they don't know what he's going to do. The people that he's surrounding himself with. This stuff is crazy, that crazier. So the partnership that United States, I don't know. Some people say, well, we can work with anyone in the United States, but can the United States work with you? Because Trump, there's no telling what he's going to say. You for once, they already have the playbook with 25. They already have it.
He is.
Then he lied and said,
he's
first
with a bunch of.
First he said he didn't have know anything about it. Now he's saying he knew everything about it, and that this is going to be the playbook, which has already started in Florida. So there are people that if this is their guideline, the educational system is in trouble because they're gonna try to shut it down. And I'm not sure, TB. I don't know if you know what is the percentile. I think it's in the Senate. I know they have the House and the Senate, right? So in the Senate,
there's some votes that are coming in. The House may have balance when it's all said and done, and all these votes are counted from these different states. But that Senate is his. It's his.
That the Senate is very key because they're the ones that have to vote for Gates to be the Attorney General. They have to vote. So that thing has to go through the House and it has to go through the Senate. And as like some of the Republicans that don't like Gates, but I don't know. That's going to be, will they not need that 60% threshold to get him over? And I don't know if they have that 60% threshold in the Senate. I'm not sure.
Well, the last I checked, and that was, at the time that they were giving the count for what party was controlling the House and the Senate based on how the votes were coming in. He had the Senate. The only thing that I've heard that has changed is the House, but the Senate has not changed.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Well, right now they have the Republicans have a 1-seat majority right now, but that's not enough to get them over. They need more than that. A 1-seat majority will not get them a 60% threshold. And the Republicans are now projected to win the House majority too.
Listen, this is a real sad turn of events. No matter how you look at it, I've been trying to see the silver lining, and aside from the possible economic growth that people can capitalize on if they move expeditiously and be willing to collaborate with others, I don't see much else coming out of this administration in these next 4 years other than some economic growth to those who have the capital to get in and the know-how to work with others to build wealth. I don't see nothing else. I think education is about to take a major.
Do you know that Trump is?
I wouldn't even say revamping because it's not revamping because they're not trying to fix anything. They're trying to improve what we know.
Trump is talking about having a third term in the White House.
A third
already.
I took government economics. This is it for little buddy. I don't know what he's talking about.
they just flashed it that Goldman moves to clarify the 22nd Amendment after Trump floats third term in White House. He wants a third term. He wants to be a king. He wants to be president for life. And he thinks
What?
that he has the votes to do it. But the 22nd Amendment does not. And what they're going to do with the Constitution? Vote the whole thing out? What we
They're
gonna-
gonna take the Constitution and burn it up. What you talking about? That's been their goal. They want to
Get
take
them
the
on
Constitution and set it on fire. The same way he took the COVID manual and threw it in the trash can.
And what
That's what they
happened?
want.
And what happened when he did that? Millions of
And a
people
lot
died.
of lives were lost. A lot of lives were
Millions
lost.
of people
I was
died.
telling the
That
lady
that
tonight.
don't phase him. He don't care nothing about that. He
I
don't
was
care.
telling the lady tonight because she said to me that, you know, black people were built to deal with adversity, and despite everything he's going to throw at us, that we're going to survive. I said, well, listen, I believe that too. Don't get me wrong, I said, but I also don't like the idea of the casualties of war that's going to come about from his reckless behavior and decision making. That's my concern. We know that black people are resilient. That's shown and proven. We have the receipts. I'm talking about those who may not make it out to the other side, who may not be here 4 years from now because of some foolishness that he does or fails to do that is catastrophic. This
Well,
man
to
make you use
me,
two,
you
two,
know it
three
is
words
coming.
when you describe him.
You know it's coming. It is coming. So we just might as well prepare ourselves for what is coming. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. I don't even know who's listening to the podcast on tonight, but I'm just here to tell everybody it's coming. Something catastrophic is coming. Something big is coming. If I know, preacher, you said you haven't been listening to it. I really haven't either, because every time I hear Trump name, I turn the channel. I just, but I feel like I know there's a greater power. The creator of this world, of this universe, is greater than Trump. But there are certain things that's going to happen, and they are. And if we are not prepared, as you said, TB, there's some things that we need to set in order. There's some lifestyles that we need to correct, because in a minute, when these prices sure enough go up, and we think it's bad now, but when those prices sure enough go up, look how low gas prices are right now. Gas prices are good. They're good right now. We can afford gas. Wait till that stuff start hitting $5 a gallon and $6 a gallon in Florida and Dade County.
Because I didn't know what was going on.
This is something is coming, because he is only for people like himself that's going to help him to become richer, help him. Musk was giving out $100 just to fill out a survey, and even more than that, I guess. And you said you were voting for Trump just to fill it out. He was giving you $100. How many millions? $200 and some $million he invested into this campaign, and now I heard that Tesla stock have flown to the top. I was thinking about getting a Tesla. Not anymore. I'll find something else. I'll get something else.
I have a friend who has one. I have a friend who has one, a 2024 Tesla, and it's great. It's like every little nuance that you may have ever considered and wish that the car had, that car has, right?
Right.
But I think it's ugly. It looks like a big bubble, like just a big turd rolling down the street. I'm not a fan.
I
I'm not a
like
fan.
the
And if
fact that you don't need a
about
tune-up.
him,
You don't need a tune-up anymore. You don't need an oil change anymore. All that is gone out the window. All that is gone. Charge the baby up.
but if someone, God forbid, tampers with the infrastructure, and when I say the infrastructure, I'm talking about the Wi-Fi and how technology, a car like that not gonna start. A car like that
It
is gonna be
can't
shut
start.
down.
It won't.
Right. That's gonna be shut down. Whereas a good old gas guzzling car,
Right.
you'll be able to get up and hit the road.
And that would be the difference. But we need to be really considering how our lifestyle, not changing to the detriment of your lifestyle, but we need to start looking at some things right now because something is coming down the pipes. And the dollar bill is already decreasing. So we better start thinking something else. We gotta rethink.
The dollar bill ain't had no value since August 15th, 1971. Go
But
Google it. Richard
but
Nixon took
but it's
the whole
still
backing off the dollar. The dollar ain't had no value since
but
then.
it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
Oh,
And
it's going to get worse. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
and we are living in a society which seems like the liars and the cheat and those that are winning. But let me tell y'all something what God told me the other day. I was thinking about my grandsons because my grandsons, I love them, but they lie. They lie. I get it. But he said, God said something to me. He said, wrong is going to catch up with right. Because right is always going to be out front. But you keep doing wrong, you're inching up to right. And when wrong and right collide, right is going to win. And right now, wrong is inching up to right, which means that something big is going to take place. And wrong is going to try to save everything that they have. I have a coworker that she loves to hike, climb, nature. And one of my coworkers told me, if anything happened, she's the one I want to be with. I want to be with her because she's going to know how to survive. Do we know how to survive? If things begin to happen, do we know how to really deal with the earth and Mother Earth and planting? And do we know how to do that? The farmers are not even safe, TB.
Man,
Farming,
it's gonna be a lot of people get fired around here because don't nobody know how to catch and kill a chicken and then defeather it. It's gonna be a lot of fired people walking around here. You gonna think BBLs are being given away because people gonna have to go back to living off the earth and eating fruits and vegetables and not being consumers of meat. And those changes right there will drop your weight considerably.
I'll become a vegetarian because I won't be out there killing nothing. So I'm just I see it, and I believe that God is going to take us through. We're going to be victorious. In the end, we are, because right is going to be right, and it's always good to be on the side of right. And it doesn't matter how good wrong look, but right is going to prevail. Right now, it seems like wrong is prevailing. One of my pastor friends said to me, she said after the election, she called me and she had me cracking up. She said, I ain't voting no more. This is it. I ain't voting no more. What's the use? What I'm going to go out there and vote for? And I thought it was funny. She was saying, I don't see that funny. I thought it was funny because right
I
is
don't know what's funny either. I need to know the punchline. What's funny about that?
that she wasn't going to vote anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was the way she said it because I knew she was
Oh,
just
okay.
angry at that moment, and she was going to go back and vote because she's heart and soul out there in the street, an advocate for voting. But when you out there fighting like that, and then that loss was that great, and we are saying that the election, it was a good election, and there was nothing bad about it. But all them folk that were sending all those text messages, did you get the text message about black women to be careful because white men are saying they're taking
Yeah, yeah.
back
I
out,
got that one. Yeah.
and we have to be careful when we go out because they are targeting black women? What real man want to target a black woman? Come on. But there's some crazy folk out there, and
But I
so
think the message was for us if Kamala would have won. I don't think we're always in danger. Let me say that. Black women are always in danger. However, I think that the risk is lower because Trump won.
This TB Elder, I'm telling you, we as a people, we're gonna always be blessed. Gonna be blessed. We're gonna make it through whatever, and we are. But there are some people that are not gonna make it. Some people's minds are not strong enough to handle the pressure. What they gonna do? What are they gonna do with all of the immigrants that's in the United States? Where they gonna send them? They're gonna put them on a boat, a plane, a ship, and send them back to their countries and just drop them off.
I don't think, listen, I'll be honest with you. The talk or the rhetoric, I call it rhetoric, of these mass deportation and all that right there, I find it to be a gimmick, and I'm gonna tell you why. Trump is a person that owns businesses, and I'm sure some of these same folks he's talking about deporting are employees of his. It's too many people at the top who rely on the minority and the marginalized folk to do the work they would never do. So it's in my opinion, it's a scare tactic. Now they're gonna have to do something big to scare the masses, but once they do this a couple of times, people gonna fall right in line with whatever it is he wants to do because they're gonna be scared. It's like when, as a teacher, when that kid that's always disrupting your classroom, when you make an example out of him or her,
Right.
everybody else fall in line.
Everybody will
Because
get in line.
they don't want to face the same consequences as that particular child for misbehavior. So he's doing that in this situation. So yes,
Well,
there's going to be some deportations. It's going to look extremely large, and you know it's going to be chaotic, but it's going to look like something you would never want to encounter. And that's how he's going to keep the masses from overturning him or for rebelling against him.
well, we can't be
That's how
afraid.
it's going to play.
We can't be afraid. You know what? They're going to explode. They're going to implode within themselves. They're already saying that Elon Musk has already overstayed his welcome at Mar-a-Lago. The committee or the whatever, Elon Musk and Ramaswamy, some kind of office of efficiency. That's some made up stuff that because this man gave so much, they gave so much money. And then he said, Elon, they just put out a thing on the TV, Elon Musk won't go home. He's overstaying his welcome at Mar-a-Lago. Come on, this man,
Listen,
this man quadrupled Trump money, and Trump want him to go home.
listen. When Trump makes the hamburger for McDonald's, the treasury person, that's how ridiculous his cabinet or these people he's naming to be on his cabinet is at this time. It's like me saying I'm gonna make a chamber, a chitlin chamber, and I'm gonna put Elder Brown over the chitlin chamber, and all of the chitterlings that are prepared for the masses must go through his rigorous system of preparation and cooking. The chitlin chamber.
Office of
Chitlin chamber.
efficiency? What in the world is that? What in the
It's the chitlin
world?
chamber.
They making
It's the
up, they
chitlin
just gonna
chamber.
make up stuff because this man gave him 200, 300, 500 million dollars. So when
The
they
chamber of chitterlings, Dr. Joy, is the chamber of chitterlings. It has no value or
at
significance.
all,
Chamber
at
of chitterlings.
all, and your tax dollars are paying for that. These people don't need your money, but your tax dollars will be paying for a space in Washington for someone just to show up every now and then, have a secretary, have a desk, have people working, doing nothing, and we are paying for that. This is this is what you said, Comedy
You
Central
know, McDonald's.
that's leading the country. And who's there to give them the checks and balances? And then they're going to have another one. This is another one to investigate all the generals that might have promoted agendas that he was against. So now you are going to have a military issue, because I don't know if generals are going to literally go against another general, because they understand that brotherhood, that sisterhood. They get,
Here's
please.
the thing. In order to execute this, they have to get rid of the Constitution. Because as of now, how society is ran today, he can't use the military like that. So the only way he'll get away with a lot of this stuff is if he really gets rid of the Constitution. Now, that Supreme Court, those Supreme Justices, that's something that needs to be handled. And I hope on Biden's way out, he puts some people there. Because if he doesn't, we're going to have a problem.
How can he do it at this late stage? Because he have to have the votes. He have to have the votes in the House and the Senate.
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for it.
What's the question?
Just, about what you just said about can he do it at this late of hour in his presidency? I don't have the answer for that. I do remember this though. Remember when Obama was on his way out the White House and he canceled wet foot, dry foot? Oh, the people were mad. Oh,
yeah.
I was laughing. The people were mad. I want Joe Biden to do something like that.
I heard he's going to forgive all loans, college loans, every last one of them.
Listen, Mohila, I gotta call them tomorrow. I got an email, like I told you all, I gave my phrase report last month saying they were forgiven. And then they come sending me a bill this month. I don't know if Peter didn't talk to Jane and Jane didn't talk to Barbie and Barbie didn't talk to Ken, but all of them need to huddle up and be on one accord and know that I don't owe them nothing.
Well, I pray, as humble as President Joe Biden is, that he does something so big. And the first thing I wish he would do is pardon his son. Pardon him.
Yeah.
Because they're going to try to eat him alive if he doesn't pardon him.
There's three things I would like for him to do. Pardon his own son, make that happen. Pass the Joe Lewis bill on through, get that done through executive order, and then forgive all the student loans. Give people opportunity. I mean, look, when you file for bankruptcy, it's like a reset. Some companies, depending upon what you're doing, what business transaction you're handling, frown upon bankruptcy. But bankruptcy gives people a restart so that they could do the right thing and get a clean slate of credit and all of that. A lot of people are swimming and almost drowning in student loan debt. And especially if you're an educator. So you pay for your undergrad degree, you pay for your post secondary degree. And when I say post secondary, I'm talking about the master's, the specialist, or the doctorate. You pay for all this stuff, but then you're in the industry where you don't make enough to pay them back.
That's true. But when you're bankrupt,
so if you're a person that has been in the trenches 10 years or more, hey, get rid of that debt to them people. Because what we deal with in these classrooms every day, what we deal with these administrators every day, what we deal with these school districts every day, what we deal with in reference to how the state legislators and a lot of these states work adversely against public education, for all that madness, I deserve my student loans to be forgiven. You deserve your student loans to be forgiven. Those out there listening to this podcast tonight who have done their time in public education in whatever capacity, but the amount of foolishness we deal with, those loans should be forgiven just on GP.
Yep.
For nothing else.
Well, I pray that he does something huge, something, an executive order is not good enough because the next president can come and just wipe that executive order out the window. So we need something so big that Trump cannot touch. He can't do anything with it. And I'm a component of him pardoning his son. I don't know what they're going to do with the migrants that are here. I don't know. But people are scared. And I know the people that's down in Homestead that work these fields, they're afraid. They're afraid right now because there are a lot of them that are not legal citizens. And ICE is coming and people are afraid. They're going to be afraid to leave their homes. They're going to be afraid to let their children go to school. We went through a huge time of this a while back. And then DACA came into existence and people had a reprieve. But at one point, parents were not allowing their kids to go to school. If kids would go to school, they didn't know when they got back home if their parents were going to be there. And these are things that people are afraid of right now. And that's even more so than some people with their food bill. You have parents that will be afraid to allow their children to go to school once Trump get into office because they don't know. Kids were afraid mom and dad might not be home when they get back, or somebody coming to the school to pick them up because mom and dad gone back. And how do you educate a child that's so afraid they don't want to go to school? So it's going to be a ripple effect.
It's gonna be a negative effect to all of this because what you mentioned about the fear, we know kids already show up with all the issues from home to our classroom. We can see it on their face. Those who are more vocal may share what they're dealing with. Kids already come with those issues now. Something like this where they don't know if they're going to be snatched from their parents or the parents snatched from them in the dead of night. If parents go to work and an employer gets upset and call ICE or whatever the acronym is going to be once he comes back into office, that alone is going to be mentally crippling. So we already have a mental health crisis in this country.
But TB,
It's getting ready to be exasperated.
This going to affect not just Mexicans, it's going to affect Haitians. It can affect Jamaicans. It's affecting the people of color more than anyone else. You go over to Aventura right now, Russians have invaded Aventura. What?
I haven't been there in a while, so I haven't been there.
I was they would send me over there, when we were doing the campaign of getting membership. So there are a lot of Russian children over at Aventura Waterways. So you have, when that war in Ukraine broke out, they were sending their families over to America, and the district knew that there were going to be a large influx of Russians. They knew that, so they had the interpreters already in place. But who isn't going to hit the most? I don't think they're going after them folk over there in the Aventura Waterways. They're going after the
That's money over there.
It's money.
That's money over there.
It's money.
Yeah.
They going after Haitians. What repercussions did happen when they said the people in Springfield were eating cats and dogs? They won an election. What repercussion they had when they were talking about violating women's rights? They won an election. What repercussions did they have when they knew that Trump was a felon, and the felons that might have wanted to vote for Trump couldn't vote for the convicted felon because they were a felon. So we have a felon as a president, and then the felons that might have wanted to vote for him couldn't vote for him because felons can't vote, but you got a felon as a president. Come on, this on internet.
And that is why many people are asking that question be taken off of job applications moving forward, because they've elected a convicted felon to be the leader
The
of the
head
free
of
world.
a country, the wealthiest country in the world, the most prominent country in the
So
world.
if a felon can be the president, a felon can get a job anywhere.
And a felon should be able to vote.
Yes, that too. That too.
So
Now
here
that's
we
something
are.
Biden can do. That's something Biden can do before he leaves. He can do something for those who have paid their debt to society through incarceration. He can restore their right to vote.
Okay. I still can't believe Matt Gaetz going Jesus. God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, preacher. I'm sorry.
Why are you so tickled by that? Are you
God.
okay? Are you amused by it or are you surprised by it? Because I'm neither surprised by it. I'm tickled by it, but I think the Marco Rubio one, because what they did on
This stuff.
it was on YouTube today. It was on YouTube today, but what they did was they played all the sound bites of Marco Rubio's criticism for Trump. And then at the end, they showed a picture of them from the other day hugging when he, announced that was going to be his choice for Secretary of State. The hypocrisy of it all. The hypocrisy of it all is comedy gold.
And what Gates has said, he's going to defund the Department of Justice. How do you defund? Oh, Lord Jesus. Defund the Department of Justice.
A lot, you know what?
This
One
is
of these
only
plans were not thought through. For example, when Trump was campaigning, this is early on, and he hasn't really said much about it since VP Harris entered the race. But prior to that, he was talking about ending tax deductions, meaning no more taxes. Now, we know that tax money is the hub or the major contributor of education, all your service industry. Tax dollars pay those individuals. So if you are now
police,
not
fire, military. Oh, Jesus. Their jobs. How taxes pay a whole lot of people jobs. Wow. 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 Here we go. 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 This is going to be hilarious.
yeah,
And it's sad. What do you tell
there.
what do you tell a sixth grader or a third grader that's coming up and they have taken so much, they're trying to take our history out of education? What do we say? We have to do what the Bible says: teach your children at home, teach them your history at home, give them that sense of pride at home, because they are not going to get it in the public school sector. They are not. And everybody can't afford to go to how many good private black schools we have in Dade County. How many? When I was saying to TB about over in Aperture Waterways, over there, there's a huge synagogue. And in that synagogue, during the time they were threatening with harming Jews, they did not have a security firm to protect their school. They hired Aventura police officers. That was their security. So they are teaching their children the Jewish customs and the Jewish nation, what they stood for. Because you go over there on a Saturday, you still see people walking to the synagogue. You don't see cars, you don't see them driving cars. They are walking because they honor the Sabbath. And that's what they do. But I remember coming up, there were certain things that we did not do on a Sunday. I remember the times that maybe Elder, you not maybe you old enough. I don't know how old you are, but I remember when the stores were closed on Sunday. You did not have the malls open. The corner stores were closed on Sunday. The mall, the grocery stores, the malls, the flea markets. None of that was open on a Sunday because people respected and honored that day. But then when capitalism took full effect, I mean, everything became open on Sundays. Holidays didn't matter. But the Jewish nation, they continue with honoring the Sabbath. They don't work. At Mount Sinai Hospital, it stops on every floor because they can't even push the elevator to go to the next floor. So the elevators are programmed to stop on every floor. That's today at Mount Sinai Hospital. What about us teaching our people, our children, the pride of being who we are and where we come from? Because you're not going to get it in school. You're not. Oh boy. Here we go.
Well, yeah.
All right. We done talked a whole lot. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What you got to say? What you got to say? We done talked the whole hour or something, but
yeah, I knew y'all had a lot to talk about.
It's crazy.
Yep, it is.
And the senators, now Gates said he's going to resign his seat immediately from the House because he think he's going to be the Attorney General. He just might not get it because the senators not going to vote for him. Trump might have to change his mind because there's going to be too much backlash.
I'm at the point. I'm just not that I'm not planning ahead or trying to encourage people to plan and do what. I'm just sitting back, I'm just waiting. I'm just like, okay, what's going on? Let me see, like in the color purple. Let me see what color. Let me sit back. Silly said, I'm gonna sit back and see what color she gonna make. Just not sit back, but idly by. But we as a people, like you guys said, that we got to come together. But it's gonna be hard because most of us don't want to. But when come January, he's putting things in place. He's putting stuff in order. He's putting things. Come January, I don't want to hear it because he told y'all with his mouth what he's gonna do. And during his campaign, he said one of his rallies. He said, "Yeah, when I get in, just think we're not gonna have to do any rallies anymore."
Nope. Said you don't have to vote again either.
He wasn't talking about rallies now doing that. He's talking about no rallies at all, no running, no nothing. See, and a lot of people miss that. He said, we ain't gonna have to do nothing. Y'all just think about it. We never have to do no rallies no more. We ain't gonna have to rally no more. I did over all these rallies, but just think, we're not gonna have to do no rallies no more. In other words, what he's saying is there's not gonna be no campaigning no more.
Why? Because he said that you don't have to vote anymore. You vote this one time.
Just one time.
This one time.
And they're gonna make that happen. They're gonna really try and make that happen because you got folks up there on the hill that they ain't gonna fight him.
They're gonna be some people that's gonna push back on it. But what it's going to take is going to take the power of the people.
Well, the power of the people spoke. Come on, Doc. The power of the people spoke. This country just let us know really how they feel. This country let us know how their mindset and the character and how they really feel. Whereas we're voting in a guy that's a criminal, adulterer, and a fraudster, all that. We're good with that. We're good with that. We don't care. We're good with that. And someone asked me how I feel. I say, hey, what am I supposed to feel? I'm gonna continue to live. I'm gonna continue to trust God. I'm gonna continue to walk and do the things I do. Y'all just be careful what you say to me. Because I'm holy, but I ain't, I struggle. But it's just that thing where we don't we just gotta be ready. And I said it the other week. This is the time. This is the time that we have to start preparing. We got 4 years, 3 years to get it right. 3 years to prepare. 3 years to groom whoever, and let's get behind them and make it happen. 3 years. We got 3 years to get it going. But are we gonna do it? Because once again, I've always said, who's next? Who's next?
I don't know who the next is. I don't know who's next.
Exactly. We don't know.
But what I do know is there are millions of people that's right here in Dade County that don't vote. Period.
Yeah.
Don't vote. Millions in Dade County that do not vote.
And I don't want to hear no crying from them. Just I don't get it.
What can they say? Nothing.
Nothing.
And let me ask you this before we go. That 20% of black people that voted for him, would that have made a difference for Kamala?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, because the other sisters made sure that.
You had women that actually voted for him.
Yeah.
He had more women that voted for him this time than he did in the previous election.
Mm-hmm.
How?
You know how?
I don't get it. I'm serious. This thing is just too weird for me. It's just too weird.
I just said America spoke, right? Because if
did he win all of those swing states and nothing wasn't rigged? I don't get it. Something took place for him to do that. Something took place.
The clear women voted.
But
I just like to say black men voted for Kamala.
I was gonna wonder when
black men voted for Kamala.
Because y'all was beating the brothers down early, but the brothers did their thing.
It's them heifers that messed us up.
It's y'all clear sisters.
It's them heifers that messed us up. That's a fact.
It's them clear sisters.
I just cannot believe that women voted for him after what he has done to women. That's just.
I want to find out how many of them was married.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, in a sense, it does, because my push is that if they're married, they weren't going against their husband as bad as they wanted to, and they could have voted. They could have, because
their husbands might have voted for Trump too. But
who's that?
But what we have to do, we have to mobilize. We have to energize.
Who's gonna do it?
We have to do it.
Who is we?
Us as a people. We.
And who's gonna rally? Who's gonna rally the people?
It starts everybody.
I don't have
the energy with you.
To vote no more. I'm pretty much done with that.
You done with what?
Phones, but I don't have the energy to beg people to vote no more. I mean, every election we always say this election is the most important election. They've heard that before. And when it mattered, sometimes they did the right thing, sometimes they did not. They compared this to when George Bush won by what was considered a landslide. Like before George W. won in '04, it had been 20 years since a Republican won the majority and the electoral college, or whatever. They did a whole thing on TV last night about this. And the point of them talking about it was that there have been moments in history where people chose what was considered the bad choice for minorities, marginalized, or otherwise compromised groups of people. And that if we survive that, we can survive it again. And that may be true. That may be true. I remember the election of '04. It was him versus Kerry. Um, and Kerry lost to George W. Um, People regret that to this day because you had 9/11. Well, 9/11 happened before that. Okay, so he got reelected, but we was in the middle of a war. You name me a Republican president. Now we're not going to count Trump's first presidency, excluding Trump. You name me a Republican president in the last 50 years, and I'm going to tell you a war attached to that president. And the Trump that we inherited in 2016 is not the Trump that's coming into the White House
Nope.
on
Nope.
January 20th,
Nope.
2025.
No, it's
And that's
not.
what I'm telling people. Because they're like, oh, we had him before. We know what to expect.
No,
No, you
no,
don't.
you don't. No, you
No, you
don't.
don't.
Nope,
And
you don't.
that's going to be the vice that gets many. That they're expecting something and going to get something drastically different and drastically worse.
They don't know this Trump. They don't know this Trump. They don't know. Not this one. Not this one.
When you look
Because
at the cabinet, because they talked about this on TV last night, he's stacking the debt, his cabinet, with extremists. Every single person he is selecting is known as an extremist within the party. For whatever their keynote issue is, they're extremists. So now you have an idiot backed by a bunch of radicals. Radicals for wrong. And here we go.
That's it.
That's it.
So hey, we gotta fight. We gotta keep fighting. Like I'm with you, Doc. We gotta rally the people,
we
get them,
gonna have to.
and
We gonna have to.
but we gotta
Okay, let
stay
me ask you this. What can we do differently that we haven't done before? Because I mean, I've been to
unified,
rallies where they brought
unified,
out food, they brought out
unified,
the who's who, they gave
unified,
out T-shirts. Um,
unified.
One of the things that we have to do is stop preaching to the choir, even though sometimes the choir needs to be
Unity.
reminded. We have to go into tough areas. We have to go into the hood where the brothers and the sisters are saying
that
that
that's
Y'all
what
don't
I
the
was
care.
telling.
government is corrupt and I'm not doing nothing because nothing's going to change. Those are the mindset that we
Listen,
have to change.
I'm
Those
so glad.
individuals.
I'm so glad you said that, Dr. Joy. I was telling NAACP. For those of you who don't know, I'm first vice president of South Day NAACP. One of the fights that we had was where to go because I'm telling them it's not the churches because most of the people sitting in church are
Vote.
registered voters.
Yes.
You need to go to where, let's say, Sis Trunk and Broward. Okay, down south we have Jazz in the Heights. Um, in Miami Gardens you have Jazz in the Garden. I'm just naming different events around the city that are well known. In June is Goombay. MLK weekend is coming up. The Martin Luther King Parade in West Perrine, in Homestead, in Liberty City. You gotta go where the people who are not sending your churches are. You gotta go in the places, in the spaces where I want to say this right. In the spaces where It's not a shared ideology of yours, perhaps.
You have to go into dig.
Jesus, listen, Jesus hung with the 12 disciples, and the 12 disciples would be the equivalent of the Wu-Tang Clan. Jesus' 12 disciples would be today's Wu-Tang Clan.
What's the Wu-Tang?
Oh my God, you didn't say that. Method Man,
Come on now, you know she don't.
RZA,
Who?
ODB,
Yeah, because they were all
Cash Rules, Everything Around Me,
they
Cream.
yeah they all had
You're all
their
that I need to get by,
Issues.
Mary J.
they all
Blige
had
and
their
Method
issues.
Man.
They weren't all
Hey,
perfect.
they
They
had
all
issues.
had, but they were
Right. So
yeah.
I say that we go into the spaces, where you go into the hood. You go into the areas that you see people hanging out and talk to them, making sure they are registered to vote. Go into the project areas. And when you said the Martin Luther King parade areas, we go into the areas that people don't want to normally go into and talk to those individuals. Get to the head of them. I know that drug dealers are kind of on the low now, but we have to go into the places and the spaces
Yeah.
where other people won't go. We have to do something that they are not doing. We have to say something that they are not saying. The best athletes are doing something that another athlete is not doing. That's what's putting them on top. So this is what we have to do, what the others are not doing. We're going to have to do a lot of foot walking. And as we said, most people in the church, they vote. You even have people in public education that do not vote. We have to get to every voter, every one of them.
We have
And
quite a few
phone banking,
people in this
phone banking
profession.
is not the answer. I phone bank for the entire month of October, the last of September. Every day, every Saturday, I'm phone banking. And 98%, now I give them 95% of the folk do not answer the phone. They do not. I left more messages than I can remember. The out of 40 or 80 people, out of 80 people, you might have had 10 people that actually answered or picked up a phone. And who listened to a message? And then if they hear I am calling in support of whatever candidate,
Delete.
click. One guy told me I'm supposed to be calling Democrats. He telling me I'm a Republican. Click. So we have to do more than that. There's something else. Just to say that, we call 20,000 people, but out of that 20,000 people, how many did you reach? How many did you reach? And that's the problem. We are not reaching. We might be leaving a message, but we are not reaching the people.
Well, let me tell you this. I feel like the Democratic Party wastes a lot of time, a lot of resources and money trying to convince people who aren't registered to vote. I think we could take a page out of the Republican playbook and pander to constituency that's registered but just have not participated in the vote. That'd be one group to attack, and you have to do that early on. You can't wait until weeks before the election. That's too late.
How about
the next group of people? Go ahead. What you gonna say?
How about we do this? How about we're taking a page out of from a lot of people. How about we take a page from the civil rights movements back in the day, where we start connecting with our future. One thing about them, they connect with their future, with the future. Other words, what I mean is they started with the young people.
Right.
They educated the young people in what the movement was about, what the social what it was about. They taught them, they prepared them. The other week we were talking about first graders. Um, um, signing them up or working out where they can go ahead and get their NAACP card, and not only just get their card, but start teaching them. Now, listen, this is just me. If we start with our 14-year-olds, we got 4 years, 14 on up, 14, 15. By the time we get to our third year, they're 18 years old. And they're educated and they're prepared and they're ready and they have a knowledge. We've gotten away from teaching our future because our future have no idea what this fight is about.
I agree with that.
They have no
I
idea
agree
what
with
this
that, but
fight is about.
we're also working in a situation where we're working, or shall I say, we have people working against us. Look at the governor. Black people benefited from slavery.
But
The
you know
watered
what,
down
though, TB?
textbooks, all these different efforts.
TB, I'm not gonna let us use that for excuse because they didn't use that for excuse back then. Because they had a whole bunch of more people against them back then than they are now. And they got it done. They got it done. So we can get it done. But it's just for us to do it. They did it themselves. They didn't rely on anybody. They didn't rely on the governor. They didn't rely on the state representative. They got it together. They organized and got it together. But this is my thing. They started with the youth. They started with the young people. That's why they were at the counter and they were so young. That's why they were walking around. They were walking in the margins and they were young because they got them. They educated them. We don't do that. We're not educating our future.
That's true.
We're not talking to our future. We're talking to grown folks.
Right.
Well, I think it's going to be a collaborative effort.
They're going to do what they're going to do. Grown folks going to already made up their mind. But our babies have no idea what this fight is about. We're saying it that we're fighting for our future. We're fighting for our kids. We're fighting for our grandkids and grandkids, great-great-grandkids. But we're not talking to them. We're not educating them.
Right.
Who are we talking to? We keep talking to grown folks.
Right.
So, but we're not starting with our young people, with our babies, our future.
I agree with that. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but that tender brand, brand is easier to bend.
And I guarantee you, if we start there, we're asking, where do we start? There. I feel we start there. Dealing with our young people, educate them, giving the history of this fight, what this fight is about, because they don't have a clue. They don't know.
And if we don't teach them, who will?
Who will? Not social media. Social media not doing a good job about it.
Please.
So yeah, all our churches, all our organizations, all our sororities, all our fraternities, all those groups. I love it. But we're not getting out. We're not going to our young people. We're not going to our babies. First graders. When I heard that first graders should have their NAACP card already. Who are we telling that to? Nobody.
You know, at the rally,
who's making that? Who's making right? Who's pushing a rally that we push that all our first graders get their NAACP card? Not only just get it, but we have a moment of a teaching moment to tell them and share with them what it's all about. Who started NAACP? Why it's so important? What's the makeup for it? What's the reason for it? Why am I signing up to get my NAACP card?
You know, at the get out the vote at New Birth, someone said for the all the members in NAACP to stand up. And somebody said everybody in this building should have been on their feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
not everybody, but most everybody.
Well,
who shouldn't have been standing, Elder? Who shouldn't have been standing?
No, I say not everybody, but most everybody did stand up, raise their hand or whatever.
No, they did not.
I did see quite a few that wasn't.
Right. But
I still say us the focus on the grown folks, that's beyond us. Grown folks gonna do what they gonna do. But our doggone future, our kids, our young babies, It's our job. Now that's our duty. Ain't our duty to try and change grown folks, but it's our duty to educate our young kids and get them involved. Just imagine if we start getting our young baby and they get involved just like back in during the Civil Rights Day.
And
And they
we
got
can get
more
started
freedom
with that.
now. We got more freedom now to do it than they did.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
we can get started with this. We can get started. We can start a movement, not a moment, but a movement. It's
Yeah.
not, we've
And
had enough moments. We've
that,
had
I was getting ready to say that's the thing, Doc. I get so sick of it. We have our moments. We talk, we act the donkey and we be out there loud for a month or two, and then
And then we
after
go
that
sit
we
down.
get and I
We go
brought it,
sit
I
down.
brought attention. I don't have anything against Stoneman Douglas, but I'll tell you this: they haven't gave up once. They're still fighting. They're
Yep,
still
Yeah.
making a noise,
yep.
and it's been several years now since that thing happened. But
Nobody gonna
they like Jacob. I ain't gonna let go until you bless me.
you bless me.
I ain't gonna
No,
let go until you give me what I want.
them
And
white
that's
folk
how they
gonna die.
was. We can't let go until we get our answer, till we get what we want.
But we give up too easy. We give up. We have our moments when we holler and scream and say what we're going to do, and then after the feeling is
After the
gone,
election, everybody go sit down and be quiet.
yeah, after the feeling
So
is gone, this
so
is the
my
time to
push,
make noise. Not now. It's the
yeah.
time we should be making a lot of noise right now. A lot
So
of noise.
my push, I don't know who I had to talk to. I'm gonna research it, I'm gonna go out there, but my push is to go after our young people, our future. I'm
Well,
gonna see
speaking of that,
how many first graders that I can reach and get them involved in the NAACP.
let me ask you something,
I'm
Elder.
just
I gave you some homework
well,
last week. Do
yeah,
you have your did you do your homework?
no, I didn't.
Here you go.
I had such a week
Uh,
last week. I
you
wasn't
work
doing
with
nothing.
kids. So what your
I
dog
told,
ate it?
I told you, listen, I shut it all down last week.
Okay, I'll give you an extension. Dr. Joy, you can get in on this too. Elder keeps saying who's next, right? And he threw a couple of names out there and shared how he felt. So I told him for homework, those who you think have the potential to be next, be it on the state level or even the national level. From the Democratic Party, who has next?
Oh
List the
no.
people. Hold up, list the people, at least three, their pros and their cons. Because like I told him, I said, we don't know who's watching this podcast. And even if that individual name is not watching this podcast, followers, supporters, or what have you, that person could go back and say, hey, I saw a podcast and they named you as possibly having next on a Democratic ticket for whatever, whatever. But here are the pros and cons they said about you. I
So
think
what's
we're
homework?
responsible for I think we're responsible for holding people to the fire, holding their feet to the fire. But we
Well,
also have to be real about when we talk about who got next, that they know or we point out the strengths and their weaknesses so they can work on that so they are prepared should their time come to serve in a larger capacity.
There are variables when you talk about strengths and weakness, because some people say may be a weakness to some could be a strength to somebody else.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
when we talk about that, then we have to look at the 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 prejudices that people may have. There's
Yes,
some people that have a problem with the way a person looks or their sexual orientation, and it has nothing to do with their ability to lead. Has nothing to
right.
do
Yeah,
with their ability of their intelligence and their wisdom. But because of their sexual orientation, they've already pushed them to the
yeah.
side. Say, I'm not going to vote for them. I
so
remember this guy. He was running for, oh my God, what was he running for? Little cute guy. He was The lady that on the school board, the black lady, I can't even think her name with all the African guard.
Dorothy Mendigal,
Dorothy
Benjamin
Benjamin.
Mendigal.
Yes. He was one of her aides.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know.
And his father went to high school with me. John McMahon. It was John McMahon. And because something negative came out about that young man, he was qualified, he was ready, he had been groomed, but the opposition came out with a negative report, and that person that would have been the most qualified person for the position dropped out because of that. So when we are looking at, like I said, what strengths and weaknesses may be in this, where we are right now, this is some crazy stuff that's about to take place.
It is. So we just got to stay focused, man, and geared up, and for the fight. And like I said,
Do it.
that's gonna be my drive.
Let's get to these babies. Let's teach them.
That's my drive. I don't know who reach out. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna research it, but that's my drive.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna take a vacation from all this political stuff, and I'll come back refreshed and ready with some ideas on how to proceed. Cause right now I'm tapped out. I'm annoyed. I'm tired. I'm everything. So I need a moment to just reboot. I need a moment.
Somebody asks, Trump chose Rubio going to run for his seat again. If not, she should run for Florida.
I hope she runs. She ain't qualified.
Oh, she run for what?
Governor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she got to search. She got to get around the right people this time.
Yeah. And that's another thing.
She got to surround herself with the right folks this time.
Yep. She has to reboot and get in with the people that know what they're doing.
But she need to surround herself with the right people. That's my take on that. She's a good lady. I've met her, interviewed her, all that, but she surface, especially down on this end. But anyway, hey y'all, it's been real. It's been good. Thank you, ladies. I knew y'all had a lot because y'all done took us way to 9:37. That's all right.
Good night. Bye.
I love it. Y'all.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Overflowing. Hey, listen. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate y'all. As I always say, I love y'all. That's an action word. You can't help it.
Yes.
Can't do nothing but love me back.
Good night.
God bless. God bless. Have a great one.
All right, y'all. You've been locked into the South Florida Podcast, South Florida Live Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Brown. And that was the ladies, Dr. Joy Jackson and Tanika Bennett. Just had a lot to get off their chests. But that's my drive, y'all. That's my drive. I'm going after the babies. I'm going after our future. I think that's where we need to start. Grown folks gonna be grown folks. But hey, thanks for everyone been tuned in, locked in. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Love y'all. That's an action word. Hey, as I always say, I'll pray for you. You pray for me. Hey, let's watch God change things. God bless you.
Email your idea for show topics to the South Florida Live Show at gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in to South Florida Live with your host, Jeffrey Brown.